All right, it's 6 o'clock.
Chris,
Let's call this meeting to order.
Chris,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Caitlin,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Jennifer.
Yes.
7 present.
We need an approval and adoption of the agenda in front of us.
Second. Motion by Caitlin Mace, seconded by Lisa Elrod to approve and adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.
First up, we are going to go through our audit report. We're going to try to get it linked up here with Mr. Ken Schultz.
He's trying now, he's calling. There we go. Hi, we just introduced you, and you're on speakerphone here with the Board of Education.
Okay,
How you doing, Ken?
good. I can't seem to hook up to the team.
Oh, that's all right. I think everybody can hear you through the speaker here.
Okay, let me get my paper.
Okay, sounds good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I've got about 7 or 8 pages I'd like to go over quickly of a 58-page report. So I'll try to get in and out so you guys can start enjoying your holidays. On pages 1 through 3 is the audited financial audit opinion. It's a clean opinion based on your cash basis of accounting. Basically, cash basis of accounting is what we call checkbook accounting, where basically you record your revenues when collected and your disbursements are recognized when paid or remitted onto the vendors and employees. A clean opinion is the goal, and that's what you receive, so congratulations on that. Of the 525 school districts, almost 500 of them utilize the cash basis of accounting. And like I said before, it's checkbook accounting. Basically, you're recording receipts on your books when received and disbursements when paid. I'd like to go to page 14 and 13. And I assume everyone has a copy of our financial statements.
Yes.
Yes. Correct.
Okay, and there you'll see on page 13 is the 2024 statement of receipts and disbursements, which is based on fund accounting. And on page 14 is the 2023 results. And at the top you'll see total receipts collected were $21,051,000 in 2024 versus $17,264,000 in 2023. And as a result, revenue was up $3,788,000, and a big part of that would be the ESSER 3 money coming in all in 1 year, 2024. So overall, revenues were up $3,788,000, and your receipts over disbursements for the fiscal year 2024 was $5,125,183, and for 2023 it was $1,226,521. So you were in the black, and a lot of that fell right to the bottom line because you were able to retain the ESSER 3 money at the fiscal year end. So the revenues collected were up, you were up over the black by $3,898,000. I'd like to go to note 5 on page 20, 21, and 22. That's your long-term debt note, which basically shows the long-term liability of general obligation bonds, and also finance purchase agreements that the district has entered into. And you'll see on page 21, 24 was $3,525,000 remaining, and that's being paid down as scheduled for both the general obligation bonds and the finance purchase agreement. You'll see that there are two general obligation bond instruments. One has remaining $500,000 from the Series 2013 bonds, and for 2017, you still have $2,890,000 remaining there. And then the finance purchase agreement with First State Community Bank is at $135,000. So in the middle section on page 21, you'll see the scheduled maturity of those three debt instruments, and you'll see that you're going to be, over the next 6 years, be paying anywhere from $640,000 up to $702,000, and will be paid off at the end of 2030. So you're healthy there in terms overall. The reason why I bring this up is because long-term debt, since you are cash basis accounting, is not recognized on your balance sheet or in your financial statements. It's only in the notes. So you need to look at that and be aware of what your debt, how liquid you are, and how financed you are in terms of overall debt. And also on page 22 at the top of the screen, top of the page, you have a legal debt margin to be able to borrow money through your debt service fund, if it was voted by the constituents, obviously. But your legal debt margin has $20 million available for future projects and campus improvements, if so voted on by the voters. Also in the notes is note 9, which is pension plans. And on page 30, just want to alert you to the middle of that page. There's what's called a proportionate share of net pension liability, and it shows the discount rate, which where is used to calculate potential liability for those two plans. Now, these debts are not recorded either in the financial statements because of the fact that you are the cash basis of accounting. But you'll see there that they use an assumed rate of 7.3% return on investment for the assets that they have to pay down the liabilities, the pension liabilities. And you'll see that the current rate has an actuarial liability still remaining of $9.7 million for PSRS and $944,000 for the peers. PSRS, of course, is for the teachers, and the peers is for your classified employees. It also shows in the schedule the sensitivity of those return on investments. For example, if you only get a 6.3% return instead of a 7.3% return, you'll see that $10.6 million liability goes up to nearly $20 million and $904,000. But if the plans do better and get an 8.3% return, then the $10.6 million goes down to $3 million. So on page 35 and 36, it's also scheduled the liabilities, and you'll see at the top on both 35 and 36 the proportionate share of the net pension liability again, $9,731,000, and on page 36, $944,000. But at the far right at the top, you'll see fiduciary net positions percentage of total pension liability, which is basically saying how large an assets do you have in the two pension funds to pay for these liabilities. And you'll see that for the end of June 30th, SRS, it's 85.38%, and for peers, it's 86%. And I looked at that the other night on the internet, and I think Missouri is ranked 10th out of the 50 states in terms of being nearly fully funded. Some states are fully funded, but that's pretty good news. The one that is the worst, of course, is the state of Illinois, which their pension plans are only 45% funded. So the teacher base and your employees should be happy for the fact that you guys have a good pension plan to support their retirement. And then finally, the last page two other pages along on page 37 and 38. And those have schedule of revenues collected by source. And there you'll see that it gives you an idea of the types of revenue that came in for the 2 years. On page 37 and 38, you'll see there's local, county, state, federal, and local revenues are up approximately $500,000 over 2023. County is actually down. State assessed utilities went down from 515,000 down to 317,000 in 1 year. The state revenues went up about $98,000. And on page 38, you'll see your federal revenues. And there you'll see that your ESSER 3 money came in at $4,243,000. And the year before we had ESSER 2 money of $565,000. So between the two, it's an increase of 3.7 just in terms of ESSER money coming in. Overall, you can see that the federal money then was 3.4 million higher than the year before. Finally, on page 58 is kind of a look back and a schedule of the last 10 years of your school district. You'll see that your total fund balance is $16,162,000 at the end of 2024. And over the last 10 years, that's the healthiest fund balances you've had at the end of a fiscal year, by quite a large margin, actually. And total receipts collected were $21 million. And of the $21 million, you'll see that the last 3 years we've been high because of ESSER money coming in. But normally you've been about in the 14 million to 15 million range for total receipts. Long-term debt outstanding, receipts collected over disbursements, which shows that you've been in the black for the last 4 years. And of that, we have actually we're in the black by $5,125,000 for 2024. And so for the last 4 years, you've actually increased your fund balances by about $10 million from where it was 4 years ago. Long-term debt outstanding, this shows you what we talked about earlier, the general obligations bonds and the finance purchase agreement. And both of them are going down as scheduled. So that's good news. Your adjusted levies have not changed. Your valuations have gone up. If you look from 10 years ago, you were at 115 million, and now your set valuation nearly 150 million. $35 million in that area. Further down, you'll see your eligible pupil average daily attendance, which is what DESI uses for computing the basic formula. And you see that you were at 1,190.95, and in the last year, unfortunately that's the lowest ADA number you've had over the last 10 years. Your $661. And you'll see that that's also the lowest calculation over the last several years. So hopefully September membership came in a little bit better this year. Scott, do you know what your numbers were?
It was lower. I don't know the exact off the top of my head, but it was lower this year
Okay.
for September's enrollment.
Okay. So you've got somewhat of a trend going down, and you'll just have to keep your eyes on that. Finally, the ASBR operating balance expenditure ratio is 82.101%. And you can see that it is primarily because of the ESSER money coming in and being held in the accounts. So you're at 82%, and last year 52, and prior to that 48, 44. You've always had good, healthy balances. I don't think 82% will be there long term. It'll probably settle back down, but I don't know if it'll settle down into the 60s or 70s. It's going to depend on how fiscally responsible the board is and what you guys need to do to keep the campus in good shape, keep the educators happy, and move forward. So I do know there are certain things that the state is making you do, but obviously they're going to probably quit helping, assisting you on money for it. So you'll probably have to having your fund balances.
Yeah, that's the plan, Ken. So we kind of got a drawdown over the next several years, but those reserves will get back down to kind of historic numbers.
By the way, Dec believes that a healthy school board or school district is about a 16 to 17% operating fund ratio. So you're obviously in very good shape and always have been. So congratulations there.
Yeah, and Ken, just to clarify, I believe last year you said for a district our size, probably about a 30 to 33 is what you recommended for a reserve rate, correct?
That's about 3 months worth of cash flow, and I think that's appropriate for school districts because 16 to 17% is more like half of that, or 6 weeks worth of cash flow available. But I think Dec looks at it as like a straight line. It's every day, every month, revenues and expenses are the same amounts. And we all know that that's not true, especially when you're starting up the new school year. And you just have, money starts getting really tight in September, October, November, if you don't have adequate funds.
Right. All right.
Otherwise, we had a very good audit. It went well, went smooth. Everybody was ready for us. And, we appreciate your hospitality we received. And we were able to get done and get out rather efficiently. So thank you.
Well, Ken, we appreciated working with you all, and I don't know if any board members have any questions. Feel free to ask if you do. Looks like everybody's pretty understanding of the presentation there, Ken, so.
No, I don't have anything. If there's no other board members that have a question, I think we just thank you for your time and for taking care of us.
Okay, thank you,
Yep.
and happy everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Ken. Merry Christmas.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay. It looks like we have a pretty decent audit report. There was nothing, troubling in the report. Everybody's doing a good job. The fund balances will come down as, we are not going to receive any more ESSER money. And with salary schedules and things like that have been approved, that will definitely eat away at the fund balances. So, if there's no questions, we do need a motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 audit report.
I'll make that move.
Second.
Motion by Tammy Palmer, seconded by Chris Bell, that the fiscal year 2024 audit report be approved as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.
And we do need another motion for the 23-24 ASVR report.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Tammy Palmer, seconded by Caitlin Mace, that the 2023-2024 ASBR report be approved as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.
All right, now let's kind of get back to on our normal agenda. We're going to go back to some board norms. We're going to review number 7 and 8. And that is, we will keep confidential our discussions, comments, and deliberations, and we will be responsible for examining all points of view before a consensus is accepted. Now, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright. Looks like we do not have any board recognition for the month of December, other than thank you all for dressing very festive tonight. That's some good board recognition right there.
I think we were told we had to.
Don't forget to.
I could
believe
Don't
there were
forget to.
I
Don't
could
forget
feel
to.
that.
There were
I could feel it through the
picture
message.
Right
Picture
on.
samples.
There was.
There was a picture sample, that's the only
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no pressure.
All right, citizen participation. We do not have any citizens signed up tonight. So we will move into consent agenda items. There's a list of items in there. There's several reports. I hope you've read them all. Checked over daily attendance. All that good stuff. If there's anything anybody wants to pull out, you can do that as well. If not, we need a motion.
Make it motion.
Second.
Motion by Chris Bell, seconded by Roger Bridgman, to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.
Okay. We also have the financial statement and action on the December bills. Are there any questions for the bills? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Caitlin Mace.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, you're sitting right here. I correct myself. Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Lisa Elrod, to approve the financial statement and action on the December bills as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed?
Abstain.
6 yes, 1 abstain.
Okay. Let's move into administrative reports, board and committee reports. A little bit quiet.
All I like seeing is lots of things happening, good things happening around the state. So far.
I'm sure it'll really ramp up after
Yeah.
January.
I'm sure it will too.
Okay, let's move into building principal reports. There is a report from every principal in here. Some have pictures. But in the interest that your reports were probably added a week ago, whenever the board packets were sent out, does anybody, Tess, would you have anything to add? Something great that happened in your building? Maybe
I would like to add, so Mrs. Horsfield is, I put on the Thrill Share as well, but Mrs. Horsfield is our building counselor. She passed out red hearts to every classroom teacher, and I got a handful of them as well. And all she asked was for classroom teachers to write the student's first name on one side, and then write a note to the students on the back. And so if you go down by her office, there is hundreds and hundreds of red hearts all over the walls with these kind notes written to students, anything from about their work in the classroom to the growth they've made this year, anything from specials teachers writing notes to classroom teachers to admin. Right now it has Be Kind and it has the Grinch there with his heart that has grown 3 sizes. But it'll transition into Valentine's Day and we'll keep that up for a while. But the kids are loving it. They, it's definitely kept their attention. It stalls them a little bit getting them down the hallway, but they love getting to find their name on that wall. And it was just a really quick sit down and write something kind about your students. So I definitely wanted to give a shout out to Mrs. Horsfield because that was a really neat project she took on, and the kids enjoy it.
And the teachers for
Yeah.
taking the time to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is very neat. So I will probably add that picture. It's on Facebook, but I'll probably add that picture to my January one because it was afterwards.
Thank you. That's good. Kindness needs to be shared.
Yes.
Okay. Middle school.
Middle school, we had our Christmas production for our drama club, and they did a fantastic job. It was really cute. Takes a lot of courage to get up in front of your peers, especially at that level, and do those things. So it was really cute. And then we did a pennies for the pound campaign, and we did a competition between first hour classes, and the kids really got into that, and I didn't have any idea of how big this was going to be, but we collected all the change and everything, and Miss Williams and I had to kind of carry it because it was so heavy to the bank, and they counted it all for us. And I was shocked that we had raised $980.10. And so then when we announced that, we had someone in the building that day, and so that person generously donated the $20 to get us to that $1,000 mark. So we are presenting the Cuba Animal Shelter with $1,000 to support the animals. So they're all going to have a great Christmas.
And the elementary building actually did that too. And was it all by Brittany? Same or different?
Yeah.
And so we had 600. So
Yeah.
Wow.
it was neat. And all just changed. The kids came in with loose change. We had a couple of generous donations, but for the most part, kids just brought in change and they were excited.
So Miss Bailey's class 1, she had the most, so they're going to get a special party and everything after we come back from Christmas. So
Awesome.
yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I really liked how the kids got into it. So yep.
Alright. High school.
I just want to, so we changed up drill this year and combined it with dance. I think it's been done in the past, but we tried it again. And we have 7 dance members, and they performed for their first time Friday night. And they did a little like 20s thing with the band. And if you didn't see it, it was awesome. They did such a good job. They were adorable. They were very nervous, very, very nervous. They're like, it's nothing like at football, they're way closer. So, but they did a great job, they looked good, and I thought it was a great night to do it, so.
So was it the drill team?
It's the
Stayed?
same member.
The same members.
They have to
Okay,
commit
cool.
to the whole year,
Cool.
so.
I think that was a very positive move that was made.
Yeah.
It's fun back in the day
From
when
Yeah.
the boardroom down.
Yeah.
And Heather does a fantastic job with
She
them.
does.
The light up palms were just pretty top.
That was awesome.
But
They are so
how'd you
cute.
do that?
They look good too, so.
Yeah, they did.
And I think they didn't know they were performing at halftime of the girls' game. And so when they got there, it helped. It helped with the nerves. They were okay for their next one because they already went out there once. So.
I was standing by the door when they come in and I told them, it's like riding a bike, girls. Just get out there and do it. And they're like, yeah.
They were good. They were really
They
good.
did a great job.
Good. All right, thank you. Let's move into student rep report. Abby.
I would just say that I think everyone's really excited that tomorrow is the last day.
I'm into that.
You're including teachers in that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to win her a Santa hat for this evening, but she said she has finals tomorrow.
One.
I'm very stoked about it.
Well, your report includes a lot of good stuff
Yes,
as well. So,
it does.
if you guys have not read through that, I'm sure that you'll have. There's a lot of stuff going on in the high school and a lot of good stuff. So, it's good to see. It looks like you've got a court warming theme picked out. That'll be here before we know it.
If you guys need decorations, I have a ton of stuff in Cisco. We just had that.
We're gonna get our Amazon order for this.
All right. Assistant Superintendent report.
Sure, I don't have anything to add to my report, but it's just a positive. The bus drivers are also ready for Christmas break. But on Monday, we were able to sit down and have a really nice luncheon, and Dr. Davidson and I got to go out to the bus barn and meet with them, and it was a nice, relaxing, quiet time.
And superintendent report.
So I'll just add two real quick here. One, we got the confirmation yesterday or this morning that our defeasance is in escrow, so the board approved that a few months ago. We waited a couple months just to try to get a little bit more interest, but went ahead and it's all finalized now. You'll see that reflected in January statements. And then I'm on a fiscal notes subcommittee working with legislators, so as bills get filed, they'll push them out to us, and then I'll be one of the individuals reading through them to submit essentially what that impact would be for our district. So just trying to take an even more active role with the legislative process to try to just give them good information to make the right best decisions. So that's all I have on that.
All right, thank you. Let's move into some unfinished business. We have a 24-25 budget update on our agenda.
So our current expenditures year to date are at 90.47%, and our revenues are at 60.99%. Just always, good. We got a clean audit. It's always nice, but just knowing that we're financially responsible in compliance with federal, state, and DESI statute. So that's always good to get that clear bill of health. So in a good place.
Let's move into new business. So next up, we have a presentation from Navigate Building Solutions, and we have a guest with us tonight.
Yep, so we have Mr. Dexter Mueller, and I have your clicker here. Get this going.
So everybody should have a little packet that looks like we can reference.
Well, thank you for allowing me to join you tonight. Just start out with an introduction. I'm Corey Dexter Mueller with Navigate Building Solutions. I've met with Dr. Davidson, worked with some of the districts in the area. They introduced us to Dr. Davidson in this role, and we'll kind of walk you through what Navigate does and what we think is a benefit to your district. The agenda tonight is just kind of walk through Navigate's experience, our overview, familiarity with the product type that you guys may be looking at, what is the delivery, what is our management style, and why would you want to choose Navigate, and how does it benefit anyone. Myself, Corey, I'm the market leader in Navigate for K-12. All I work with is K-12 school districts. I work with about 30 of them in the state of Missouri currently. I've had the opportunity to start in Union R11 and then grow this market. It's been rewarding to see students happy, because I've had the opportunity in construction to work in apartments, building jails, building hotels, building police stations, and schools are much more enjoyable than any of those. Navigate, overview of our company, we were started officially in 2016. We branched out from a larger general contractor and focused solely on owners reps and what we could do to be a representative of public agencies. That is 100% of our work, so we no longer work in the GC side and no longer compete in that market. It's really just focusing on being an agent to the owner. Doing that, you will see a lot of people who try to provide this service that may be an architect, that may be a contractor, and this is just kind of a secondary service. We've crafted a business that solely focuses on this, so there is no overhead associated with that. No, we don't carry a marketing and accounting. It's really a streamlined service, so we try to make it a cost-effective service for public agencies and school districts. I mentioned worked with actually 30 school districts. We got hired by Atlanta C3 since we put this together, so 30 districts here in the state of Missouri in the past 5 years. How does Navigate fit in with a school district? The school district does look at some type of construction project. What does an owner's rep really need? Navigate becomes a temporary extension of the school district before you go out to a project. kind of be that one point of contact that'll manage the design team, manage the architect, manage the contractor. That is really the role of an owner's rep. So we just like to put this model up here so people understand what an owner's rep is. I'm not here today to talk to you about a construction project. This is more to try to figure out data and build a management book, which we've done with other districts in the area I could share with you. But I just want to show you what is an owner's rep and what type of role do they play with school districts. Local familiarity. We have an office in St. Louis, an office in Kansas City, and we cover the whole state. Working all the way down to Springfield around you guys. I work with Osage County R2, Strain Japan, Spring Bluff, Union, Merrimack Valley, so kind of in this area around you guys. Also, our involvement does not exclude local contractors. We believe wholly in trying to bring local contractors to the table. It provides kind of a double benefit for districts. One, if you can get local contractors to bid a job, you should get better pricing. You don't have somebody that's driving 30, 40 an hour or two to get to work every day, so you should have a more competitive price. And two, it keeps the money local. And usually you guys have the biggest resource surrounding local contractors through your students. So we put together flyers like the one you see on the right we did for North Callaway School District that we just did this past October. But we truly believe in that because again, it lowers the price of the project, you get more for your money, and it keeps some of the money local. So what is our role? Kind of walk through an owner's rep. We're really just an implementation specialist. We understand the product, understand how to design the product, and understand how to get it to you. These books here, we're going to walk through how that benefits the district now. You may have a list of projects. We met with Dr. Davis some wants for the district. You may be looking at the parking lot, bathroom at the bus barn. There's some windows to be replaced, the old maintenance shop to be removed and infilled. But that list of projects, you guys are going to have to try to budget for those. Are they going to come out of Fund 4? Are you guys going to try to find additional funding? However you figure that out, you need to know a budget for those and plan for them and set how the budget's going to affect every year and how many of those projects you can touch at one time. So on the left here, we did this. This is actually out of the Union book, and I can leave a copy of this for you guys to look. Was a list of projects that Union had. You take one of those items on the left, and that single line that says high school parking lots there, actually that one's the locker rooms. Over to the right, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say we're going to do locker room renovations? Part of that is going through and defining that scope, making those assumptions so you can get something to price, so you can set those budgets. So we'll walk through with, I'll walk through with Dr. Davidson already to understand some of the scope, but really start defining that scope. So the middle school girls locker room on the right, we started adding, does it mean lights, painting, brick cleaning? We even walked into those, this was part of their locker rooms at Union, and took photos and understand the space and gave recommendations. So those numbers aren't just saying, hey, a locker room is $175, $225 a square foot. It's really going through and pricing actual items and scopes of work. So I think that's what these books will do, is we can walk through, create scope maps, clarify scopes. Even this one is parking lots, so this one applies to what you guys are doing. When you go to a parking lot, are you going to tear all the asphalt up? Are you going to overlay the parking lot? Does it just need to be sealed and striped? Those are three very different price points. So be able to walk those parking lots, kind of evaluate them, give some opinions, and then start pricing those opinions so you have those budgets. We may create scope maps where we actually go through and just take a Google map photo and highlight and make sure we're all on the same page of what parking lots we're talking about. Because these books, this book for Union was done in 22 when we first did it, and I know since then they've done at least 6 projects. Projects that we were involved in, something just their maintenance handled, but they've been marking them off, and now they've lumped together large sum projects for a bond issue in 25. Those maps right there, 3 years later, they can open this book and then go figure out what do we really price. It's not a guessing game. It's kind of a moment in time that's pricing that moment so they can use it to build in the future. Take those estimates, create documentation, kind of that backup, so we can walk through that with you guys. If someone says, hey, I don't think those bathrooms need toilet partitions. If we took those toilet partitions out, what does that save out of there? You can scratch stuff out of here, or you can say, hey, you didn't talk about replacing the flooring in the bathrooms. We want to add that in there. So we can walk through with the district and adjust these scopes, adjust the estimates. This is just to show we have a history of having accurate estimates, so you can rely on those estimates. But once you get those scopes and those estimates together, we meet with the staff and we do a draft report. We're gonna sit there and go through each one of those projects, how we think you guys could or couldn't procure those, what may be some benefits to the district, put a draft report, walk through it with you guys. In that meeting, we're gonna start discussing project timelines. So if you wanna do all these parking lots, you're probably not gonna do them all in 1 year. You may do one summer, one the next summer. Walk through those timelines to try to stretch that money out so you can see in your budget. This may be a 1, 3, 5, 10-year deal. You guys can figure out how you're gonna budget and stretch that budget across that timeline. From that, we will present a final book that you guys get to keep in electronic form, hard form, keep it on your desk, something you can refer back to for the future budget discussions. I know really you guys have that coming up probably here in March or so, March, April. We try to stretch out the next year. About every spring I see most school districts set out the next fiscal year. These books become very beneficial for you to see what can we set aside. Can we do any of these projects or do we need to wait another year? Why navigate? Our company, this is our main focus, is to be an owner's rep to help set districts up, set clients up for successful projects. We've got a strong background in your guys' project type in not only K-12, but this type of work within K-12. Budgeting, we have no problem doing budgets. We receive about 30 bids a month across our 30 districts. Usually it's 5 to 6 bids per project, and we use that data every month to update our pricing. So our pricing is not RS means, it's not square foot numbers, it's actually collected data that's updated every month, and then you apply to projects based on the scope in the project. We do have architects and engineers on staff. We don't provide any design service. We use that to actually go through and just start some high level stuff. They actually work as project managers for us, but they have that expertise. And then we are familiar with this local market. This is not an unfamiliar place for us. Besides that, do you guys have any questions or answers, or I know I kind of moved a little quick.
And so, kind of play in, probably should have said this maybe prior to the presentation, but where we're at with the capital projects task force is met, and everybody's walked through, kind of looked at things district-wide. So we have a list, but we just don't know what that list costs us. So essentially, their company could provide the service of getting us price points, and then we can go from there to determine which ones we want to, do or not do. Can we do 3? Can we do 7? We don't know until we get numbers. So this company will put those numbers together for us and be accurate, and creates a nice facilities plan too, to where if we decide to go out to a bond, it doesn't pass, we still have a 5-year range of, do we want to pick 1 or 2 per year budgeted in and work on it. So it's very useful to me. So kind of essentially, I look at it as personally, if you hire an architect to design your house, to at least know what you're trying to go out for bid, is the way I look at their company with services. Is that pretty fair?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's heard the term master planning. This is not master planning. Master planning would be going through do you need to build a new building? What's the growth in the area? This is what I call maintenance planning. You go back and do the deferred maintenance, keep the buildings up to par. This is really just setting up a maintenance plan for you guys to refer to over the next few years or 10 years to figure out how you want to keep moving forward. It's really maintenance and understanding your current buildings, current facilities.
Corey, do you mind passing out a few of those books? I think that's really good work too.
Yeah. Each one of these is a different school district too, so that's Union, Fox, and Washington. Each one of those has a very different scope of work. As you guys have listed a list of projects. Union had a list of projects similar where they had figured something out. Fox was just, hey, we've got too many buildings, we need to know what our windows, doors, roof, they just need to know a list of generic items. Washington is probably similar to Fox, where they just had a list of generic scopes that they want to figure out. So the Union one may fit your guys' model a little bit better, but it'll give you an idea of the type of product.
When you say like list of projects, is it just like what the capital projects task force has kind of came up with, or
Correct.
will that
Yeah.
grow more, or will it be less than kind of what we've already talked about on
So that's a good starting
point?
And
Yeah,
that's what I
because
met
there was quite a
with.
few that were
Yeah,
on
because I
there.
met with Corey, and we walked through the campus, did the same thing I did with the task force. So he has a pretty good idea, and he needed that to give us an estimate of what their company would charge to put this together, and that's what's in your packet as well, what that cost is. So then it's, seeing if you as a board are comfortable with their services. And give you time to look at it. No decisions are made tonight. It's, we could do this in the future, but it's just another step in the process of having actual numbers to make good decisions on. So.
Yep.
Yeah, because we could take these two, and then once the board decides, hey, we want to do a $5 million bond or 7 or whatever, what menu do you want to put together, and then we could propose that to the community. Say, if this passes, here's what we're doing, and have pretty close to pretty close estimates there. So.
Yeah, we work with, on average, about 4 to 8 school districts every spring passing bond issues. And part of our job is to ensure that your list of projects are something the dollar amount can afford. You don't want to end up in that scenario. So you'll see bond language that's really set up for allowing you to grow that list. So if you get down that list of what you want, you've priced it well, and you've bought it well, you may be able to grow the list, but you don't want to go backwards. Start going backwards and contracting, it becomes an issue.
Yeah, so this is just kind of more of a step in like the whole planning process. It's not just getting to the point of let's pass a bond and we don't really have all of our ducks in a row
Yep.
at that point.
And it'll take, once approved, if the board decides to approve it, about 8 weeks, I believe, to put this together, somewhere near.
Yeah, 8 to 12, depending on how detailed we go.
Project.
And you said you do go out to like our local, I mean, for being a small area, there's a lot of things that are around here, you know, HVAC and different things like that. You guys, you go out to the.
So none of this is to actually do the work.
Sure.
This is just do the estimate. So when
You
if
guys
we
just
get in,
manage and-
yeah, if we end up getting to the point where there's work that's being done that we're involved in, very much so. We hold an event that we'd like to call Meet the GC. So if you guys identify a project or list of projects you're gonna put out to bid, not the pre-bid meeting, but we'll hold an event to kind of bring the public in. That flyer actually with North Callaway was a flyer for one of those events. I'll kind of walk you through it.